Picture this. You stroll down the brightly lit aisle of your local supermarket. You grab a shiny red apple. You toss a plastic box of blueberries into your cart. You go home, wash them off, and take a massive bite. It is the most normal thing in the world today. You don't even think about it. But rewind 50,000 years? If you just walked up to a random bush in the wild and popped a mystery berry into your mouth, your tribe wouldn't just think you were a weirdo. They would think you were completely insane, and you would probably be dead by sunset. Why? Because nature is not a friendly grocery store. It is a giant green minefield. Almost everything out there is actively trying to kill you. So, how did our ancient ancestors survive without blowing their livers to pieces every time they wanted a snack? Most people think it was just dumb luck. You have probably heard the classic trial and error myth. It goes something like this. The tribe sits around. They watch Dave the caveman eat a bright red mushroom. Dave starts sweating, violently foaming at the mouth, and drops dead. The rest of the tribe nods and says, "Okay, nobody eat the red mushroom." Wrong. Think about it. If humans actually survived by playing Russian roulette with the forest buffet, our species would have gone extinct long before we even figured out how to make fire. You cannot build a civilization on a pile of poisoned Daves. So what was their real secret? How did they navigate a world where a simple salad could be a sudden death sentence? They had a system, a bizarre, brilliant system that modern humans have completely forgotten. Let's look at the 3 real reasons our ancestors didn't poison themselves to death. Reason 1. The built-in chemical alarm system. Have you ever wondered why little kids absolutely despise broccoli? Or why your very first sip of black coffee tasted like battery acid? It is not just you being a picky eater. It is an ancient survival software running in the background of your brain. Plants cannot run away from predators. They do not have claws. They do not have teeth. So what do? They wage chemical warfare. They pack their leaves, roots, and seeds with deadly alkaloids, heavy tannins, and literal cyanide. Our ancestors did not have laboratory testing kits, so evolution built one directly into their tongues. Bitterness and astringency. When an ancient human bit into a toxic root, that extreme bitter flavor was not just a taste. It was an immediate, high-decibel neural alarm bell screaming, "Spit it out, right now." Your gag reflex is not a weakness. It is a prehistoric superpower designed to expel poison before it hits your stomach. But what happens when the poison is sneaky? What happens when a deadly plant actually tastes sweet, or takes 3 days to shut down your kidneys? Taste alone wasn't enough. So how did they map the invisible traps of the forest? Reason 2. The Campfire Survival Encyclopedia. How do you download thousands of years of botanical data without the internet, without books, and without writing? You gossip. You tell terrifying stories. Ancient tribes did not learn by trial and error every single generation. They coded their survival guides into campfire myths. They did not have Google. They had grandmothers. They created monsters, spirits, and dark legends about specific parts of the woods. That story about the evil forest demon living in the twisted vine? That was not just ancient entertainment. That was encrypted data. It was a strict warning. It meant the berries on that specific vine will stop your heart in 10 minutes. They turned the complex rules of botany and foraging into catchy songs, rhythmic chants, and terrifying bedtime stories. It was the original Wikipedia, and it was completely oral. The knowledge was passed down so perfectly that a child knew exactly what not to touch before they even took their first steps into the brush. But humans are flawed. What if you made a mistake? What if you were starving, took a gamble, and ate the wrong thing anyway? Reason 3. The prehistoric detox smoothie. This is where things get genuinely weird. If an ancient hunter-gatherer felt violently sick after eating a sketchy tuber, what did they do? Did they just lie down and accept their fate? No, they ate dirt. Literally. It is a practice called geophagy. When they felt poisoned, they would seek out very specific types of clay, from riverbanks or termite mounds, and they would eat handfuls of it. Why would a poisoned person eat mud? Because they understood chemistry without knowing the math. Clay is negatively charged. Plant toxins, like deadly alkaloids, are positively charged. When that clay hits the stomach, it acts like a magnetic sponge. It binds directly to the poison, trapping it, and dragging it safely out of the digestive tract before it can be absorbed into the bloodstream. They were making earth smoothies to biohack their own guts. Sounds like primitive voodoo, right? Just a bunch of superstitious mud eating? Here is the crazy part. Modern science proves they were absolute geniuses. In the 21st century, geneticists mapped the human genome. And what did they find? A massive cluster of genes specifically dedicated to bitter taste receptors, known as the TAS2R family. We have nearly 30 different genetic sensors just to detect bitter plant toxins. Your tongue is literally wired by millions of years of evolution to be a specialized poison detector. And those campfire stories? Anthropologists studying indigenous cultures today, like the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, have proven that oral traditions can accurately preserve complex survival and geographical data for over 10,000 years without changing a single crucial fact. The stories were literally peer-reviewed science, dressed up as mythology. What about the clay smoothies? Modern pharmacology uses the exact same principle. Look at the medicine cabinet in your bathroom. Medications used for severe stomach issues and poisoning? For decades, the active ingredient was kaolin. What is kaolin? It is a specific type of naturally occurring clay. The ancient way was never primitive. It was a highly advanced system perfectly aligned with human biology. Let's take it back to the Pleistocene era. Imagine being a hunter-gatherer. The forest is not a peaceful hiking trail. It is a war zone. Every calorie is a battle. You are starving. You see a bush covered in bright, juicy purple berries. They look delicious. But your biology and your culture are holding you back. Your grandmother's scary story about the purple berry demon whispers in your ear. Your tongue is primed and loaded to reject the absolute slightest hint of alkaloid bitterness. You remember the location of the clay bank by the river, just in case. You aren't guessing. You are executing a highly sophisticated survival protocol passed down through thousands of generations of survivors. Our ancestors did not conquer nature with brute force. They conquered it by listening to their bodies, trusting their elders, and respecting the poison. Now, look at us today. We are living in a bizarre, unprecedented evolutionary experiment. We buy pre-washed spinach sealed in plastic bags. We have genetically engineered and bred all the natural bitterness out of our vegetables so they taste like crunchy water. We have entirely outsourced our survival instincts to government food agencies, expiration dates, and barcode scanners. We are the first humans in the entire history of the world who are completely blind to the chemical warfare of the natural environment. If the supermarkets permanently closed tomorrow, 99% of us would not last a week in the woods. Not because we could not find food, but because we would have absolutely no idea which beautiful, delicious-looking leaf is quietly waiting to assassinate us. We think we have completely mastered the food chain. But the truth is, we have really just forgotten the rules of the game. But here is a terrifying thought to leave you with. We successfully avoided natural poisons for millions of years. Our tongues warned us. Our stories protected us. So what exactly happened when humans finally encountered the one toxic plant that successfully hacked our brain's dopamine system? The one specific poison that actually manipulated us into wanting to consume it every single day? Well, you probably brewed a fresh cup of it this morning. But that is a story for another video.